A couple of days ago, Alan Ritchson recently said that he will be very eager to be casted as Batman for the upcoming DCU movie, Batman the Brave and the Bold. And once this news broke out, a lot of fans were divided. Some fans thought that Alan Ritchson will be a great casting, while other fans thought that Alan Ritchson will be a huge miscast. And I'm here to give my take upon the situation by watching the Reacher series. To be more specific, Reacher Season 3. And the reason why I'm even bringing up Alan Ritchson's comment for wanting to become the Batman is because if you know Alan Ritchson's previous career before Reacher, you know that he actually played two superheroes in the DC universe. In Smallville, he played Aquaman, and when I watched his Aquaman episode all the way back then and as recently as 2 years ago, I thought that he could have played a good Aquaman if Smallville actually turned into a movie franchise instead of being a live action TV franchise. I thought that he was a great casting for Aquaman, and if in the DCU they're looking for a more disgruntled, older version of Aquaman, I think he could still play the part. And he also played a hero called Hawk in the Titans TV show. To be honest with you, that Titans live action TV show is best to be forgotten because that show was total booty cheeks, but he played a convincing Hawk, even though I did not like that Hawk suffered from erectile dysfunction. That was just so weird. But when I'm seeing Alan Ritchson, he currently wants to be portrayed as Batman, and I watched Reacher Season 3, I'll be honest with you. I'll be totally honest with you. I think he fits the part. And I am actually on the side that is leaning towards wanting Alan Ritchson to be Batman. And when you're watching this currently, you're probably going to be confused as to why I want this. But I'll have to explain it like this. And the way that I'm going to explain it is that Alan Ritchson, when he's Reacher, he is menacing, he is stocky, he is built, he is strong. He knows how to fight. He knows how to disarm people quickly. And not only that, his detective skills as Reacher is on point. And I'll be honest with you, it actually resembles Batman because he knows how to completely crack a case before the case is even done. He knows how to detect whatever is going wrong, and he can detect it before it even happens. And I'm just looking at Reacher. I am watching the season 3 because, to be honest with you, when Reacher first came out a couple of years ago, I watched the first episode, but I wasn't really that interested in it. It's not that it was bad to me. I knew that it was peak, but it's just like I just at the time was not interested in it. So seeing that the show has very great reviews all across the board with season 1, season 2, and season 3, I am actually confident in saying that since the show is very successful, I can see why Alan Ritchson really wants to play Batman, because he's probably thinking that, oh, I am in this very great successful TV show and I can actually use this as a resume or a cover letter of some sort to James Gunn's DCU. And specifically talking about Reacher Season 3, it follows up the events of Reacher Season 1 and Season 2. Remember, I did not watch that, so I actually am watching Season 3 blindly. I came in this season just completely oblivious and ignorant to the previous events that happened. But Season 3 starts off, and Jack Reacher, when he is in Abbotsville, Maine, he just minding his business. He just doing whatever Jack Reacher does. But then he now sees an attempted kidnapping. And this attempted kidnapping is targeting a kid called Richie Beck. And Richie Beck, he's the son of this person that runs this criminal enterprise that is masquerading as a rug company. But this rug company is actually importing illegal merchandise, like a lot of loaded guns and a lot of illegal guns. So once this happens, Jack Reacher, he stops this attempted kidnapping. He helps Richie Beck to return home, and once he returns home, Jack now meets the dad of Richie Beck, Zachary Beck. Jack Reacher tells Zachary Beck that, look, your son almost got kidnapped. I had to kill the person that was kidnapping your son, and now your bodyguard has been killed. Your bodyguard, his brains were splattered on the entire front side of the car. So now your son is okay, but you need to be more careful about your son. So Zachary Beck, he now reluctantly concludes to the fact that, okay, yes, my son was recently kidnapped once, and now this is the second attempted kidnapping. The first kidnapping worked, so since this kidnapping was foiled due to this person named Jack Reacher, I need to actually enlist Jack Reacher to start to work for me, not as my confidant or not as my second right-hand man yet, but to just be a bodyguard to replace that bodyguard that allegedly died in this kidnapping. So once we now see all of this, and now that Jack Reacher, he is inside this place is like a fortress, because there is this person named Polly, and Polly is so tall and muscular, and he is a big intimidating force that Jack Reacher, I don't think he will actually overcome this until the end of the season. But we see all of these men. There's someone named Duke, and Duke is a right-hand man to Zachary Beck. But the big reason why Jack Reacher is even in this predicament is because the alleged kidnapping was a ruse. It was a wild goose chase. This kidnapping is fake. This kidnapping is actually because of the DEA, and the members of the DEA that are involved in this kidnapping is a woman called Susan Duffy, her partner Guillermo Villanueva, and their other partner Stephen Elliott, and they are basically conspiring this entire plot just so that Susan Duffy can find this missing person called Teresa. So the reason why the DEA and Jack Reacher are working together is because Susan wants Jack Reacher to find Teresa on the grounds of Zachary Beck's house, and Jack Reacher, he also wants to find someone as well, and the person he wants to find is someone that he thought that he killed a long time ago, and this person he thought that he killed is Francis Xavier Quinn. But the reason why Jack, he wants to find Julius is because Julius, he is the reason why Jack Reacher's former mentee Dominique Cole was killed in cold blood. And when I saw that episode was sad, because Dominique Cole, she was a very smart, strong, and determined would-be sergeant in the military ranks. She just wanted to climb up the ranks and actually earned her way up the ranks. She did not want any hand-me-downs. She did not want any little help. Even though she's a rookie and she's new, Jack Reacher, he saw that, and he actually concluded that Dominique Cole has what it takes to go out on her own and to become a great sergeant and to even rise above that. So when they were actually investigating Xavier Quinn, and Xavier Quinn is an ex-military sergeant or lieutenant, I forgot his ranking to be honest with you, but at the time he was committing a lot of crimes. He was running a criminal empire and a criminal enterprise. So Jack and Dominique were hell-bent on stopping this criminal empire. So when they got this informant to snitch on Xavier Quinn, and this informant now told Jack, Dominique, and the entire military that, look, Xavier Quinn, you do not want to mess with him. He is a part of y'all. He is literally a military officer. So as soon as he hears that I snitch, he will know about this ASAP, and he will not only kill me and my family, but he will also kill you guys as well. And it seems that this informant was telling the truth, because when they found the location of Xavier Quinn, and Dominique, she wanted to be the one to arrest Xavier Quinn, Reacher, he says that, okay, Dominique, you earned this. You earned the shot to arrest Xavier Quinn by yourself. So now you have to do it by yourself, because you need to prove to our other colleagues and our other friends that you earned this shot, you earned your opportunity. But man, that shit was crazy. Dominique, she actually went to the location, but Jack and the other military sergeants and lieutenants did not hear back from her. Jack instantly knew that this is unheard of. Dominique is usually on point with her own operations. So once Jack, he now texts Dominique, Dominique responds saying sir instead of Reacher, and Jack, he made it adamantly known that do not call me sir, just call me Reacher. So once this happened, Jack, he drives to the location, he speeds to the location, and the police, they are not too far behind, but Jack gets there first, and Jack, he now confronts Xavier Quinn. But before he could confront Xavier Quinn, he sees the mangled, disgusting, and just brutalized body of Dominique Cole. And man, this made me start to think that Xavier Quinn tortured Dominique. He basically brutalized her. I don't want to go in depth into what I think he did to her, but Xavier Quinn is a jackass, man. This nigga is Satan's greatest soldier in the show. So Jack, he confronts Xavier Quinn. He tells Xavier Quinn that you killed her, but he not asks Xavier Quinn what's her name, and Xavier did not know what the name of the person that he just killed was. So Jack says her name was Dominique, and Jack now shoots Xavier Quinn point blank range in the head, and Xavier dies, or we thought that he died because Xavier, he fell down into the water bank and his body was flushed away in the water current. But Jack, he actually miscalculated that entire event. He should have checked that he really died before he fell, because now Xavier has returned, and Xavier, he's basically controlling the entire Beck criminal enterprise. He is controlling Zachary Beck, because that kidnapping that I said earlier in the video, yeah, that kidnapping was because of Xavier Quinn. Xavier Quinn kidnapped Zachary Beck's son, Richard Beck, and the way that he did that is because he had Polly, that tall, muscular, strong, intimidating person. He had Polly beat the shit out of Richard Beck, and he basically beat him till he was lifeless, and this caused Zachary Beck to completely hand over his rug company, and his rug company got turned into this criminal enterprise that transports illegal guns. So as we're seeing all of this, we're seeing Jack Reacher, he is working with Susan Duffy and Guillermo and Stephen Elliott, and they're just trying their best to stop this case. They have a lot of wild goose chases, and I really like this scene when Jack Reacher, he killed this dude called Angel Doll, because he was actually almost about to give up who Jack Reacher really was. So Jack had to kill Angel Doll. And I also like this scene when we see that Stephen Elliott, he is trying his best to be a good person, but Susan, she is not really giving Stephen Elliott the time of day. She's basically thinking that Stephen is a loser and Stephen is incompetent, but we see that Stephen Elliott, he's just a nice person. And that bodyguard that I'm talking about, that bodyguard that allegedly got his brain splattered, well, that bodyguard is actually still alive, and that bodyguard was being held illegally by Susan, Guillermo, Stephen Elliott, and Jack. But then we see that Stephen Elliott is a good person because he wants to not really torture the bodyguard, but he actually needs to follow protocols. But the bodyguard, he now manipulates Stephen, he persuades Stephen to give him a cigarette, but this cost Stephen his life, because as soon as the cigarette was given, the bodyguard, he drank this chemical that causes the smoke to go straight into Stephen's face, and then this causes Stephen to be disoriented, and then the bodyguard kills Stephen while his hands were tied behind his back. And then that shit was sad. I'll be honest with you, man. I was like, damn, Stephen was just a good guy, man, but he had to die. And then the bodyguard, he now fled. He was driving to Zachary Beck to snitch to Zachary Beck about Jack Reacher and the DEA, but we see that Jack Reacher and Guillermo, they set a trap for the bodyguard, and then they avenge Stephen Elliott's death by killing that bodyguard, man. But Susan Duffy, just because she was mean to Stephen Elliott does not make her a bad character. I really like Susan's character because she just wanted to right her previous wrongs when she actually set up Teresa to be put in this predicament in the first place. Susan, she just wants to find and save Teresa. She just wants to see if Teresa is still alive. And once she finds Teresa, then she will turn herself in, she will turn her badge in, and she will confess to all of the illegal practices that she has been doing. So this show, I'll be honest with you, man, I was shocked to realize that, damn, I was missing out on peak. I was missing out on this show for the longest. This show came out like a couple of years ago, and this entire entire franchise is actually a novel franchise that I did not even know about. And this franchise had movies too that starred Tom Cruise. So I am completely oblivious to this entire Reacher franchise. But now, speaking on Jack Reacher proves to be a strong and destructive force, but he is lawfully good. Jack Reacher, he, in my opinion, he embodies a vigilante because, you know, he goes behind the law books. He goes in and around the law books. You know, he actually kills some criminals in the show, but he is doing it for the greater good. And I like the way that he dispatches the criminals. He just beats their asses so quick. It's like he is just inhumanely strong. He can rip doors by just doing nothing. He can just break bones by doing nothing. And I like how Jack Reacher is portrayed in this show. He's portrayed as a strong force, but man, it's like the immovable object meets the indestructible force, because in episode 5 we see Jack Reacher, he finally comes to blows with Polly, and Polly slaps the shit out of Jack Reacher, causing Jack Reacher to nearly get knocked out. And the reason why Polly slapped Jack Reacher is because there is this maid called Annette, and Annette, she was this lovable maid that she just wanted to do good. She was a French student from overseas, but we actually know that this is fake because this maid is actually an ATF officer. So Zachary Beck had Polly to kill this maid, but Zachary didn't want her to die. It's just that Polly was just so strong, so when he slapped her, she died, unfortunately. And I'm just watching all of these scenes, I'm seeing all of these episodes, and I'm like, damn, this show is peak. And the reason why I brought up Batman early in the video is because, remember, Alan Ritchson stated that he wanted to be Batman and he would do it for free. So now that I'm seeing that he played previous superhero roles like Aquaman, Hawk, and now Jack Reacher is not really a superhero, but he actually embodies the vigilanteism of superheroes, I think Alan Ritchson, he could portray a great Batman. I don't know. I think that if he gets a more charismatic playboy persona, and we actually saw that he was charismatic when he was Hawk in Titans, I think Alan Ritchson could be a good Batman. Reacher season 3 kind of proved to me that he could be a good Batman, but let me not let this Batman completely be the full focus of this video, because Reacher season 3 is really good. I highly recommend anyone who's watching this to watch Reacher season 3 and to watch season 2 and season 1, because I know I need to watch season 2 and season 1, because man, I am so slow, I am so behind on this entire TV franchise, man. That's the end of the video, man. I really like Reacher so far. I can't wait for the next episode. That's it. I'm out. Peace.